So let me tell you a few stories while I'm doing this thing with my hair. Anyway, so let's have a chat. So this little story time is about some scary stories, the supernatural stories of my family. We have tons of them. I don't know if I'll some of them are true. Some of them are that we've been told that they're true. But, there's a bit of is this really true? Or are you just trying to scare me? And so we grew up hearing these stories. And my family has always been a family that has had a lot of supernatural experiences. Ghosts. And I think, I've thought about this, and I've always thought that it was because we're from Venezuela, right? And Latinos in general, I think we come from cultures where we believe in this kind of stuff, where there's stories about witches and goblins. And you go throughout, and this is why I love mythology, and which is why I really appreciate the storytellers on this app, because they explore other ones, whether it's in Asia or Latin America or whatnot. So anyway, the culture is really open, and it's kind of earthed in this spiritual compass, right? And so I think that does something to the consciousness of the people. Obviously, you'll find people that don't believe in anything. My grandfather was one of them. In fact, one of his establishments was so haunted that it terrorized my grandmother, but he literally never felt anything. I'll tell that story another time. But today's story was actually something that happened to my mom. And it's a quick story. My mom had this friend. She studied with her. And they studied, and my mom is somebody that always makes really quick friends. She's super friendly. She's super kind of very affable, I think is the word. Clearly, it skipped a generation. Resting bitch face, am I right? Anyway, so she has this friend, right? And this friend gets married, becomes pregnant, and she has a little boy, and this little boy is adorable. It's cute little dimples and a little chubby face, and my mom becomes his godmother. She baptizes him. They're Catholic. She baptizes him, and she becomes his godmother. And these two women are very close, my mother and her friend, at the time. Eventually, the little boy starts presenting with certain symptoms, and they don't know what it is. They take him to hospital after hospital after hospital, specialist after specialist. Eventually, they come upon a diagnosis. And the diagnosis is some kind of rare form of cancer. I don't remember what it is. I apologize. And he gets progressively worse. There will be periods where he's fine, and then he'll get progressively worse. Anyway, it gets so bad that one time he gets hospitalized, and they think, this is going to be the end of it. They call my mom so that she can come by and say her goodbyes. And she goes to the hospital. The family stays with him. Everybody takes turns, including my mom. They take turns taking care of him, right? And during one of my mom's kind of stints, by the way, a little bit of back information. I don't know if that's a word. This lady, my mom's friend, becomes a familial friend. And so my grandmother shows up, everybody shows up, right? And during one of my mom's stints of, being in the hospital, my grandmother shows up. So before my grandmother shows up to the hospital, the baby had been doing really badly. And then all of a sudden, almost like overnight, the baby like takes a turn for the better. And he starts eating, he starts, his cheeks are full of color, he starts babbling, like babies do. And everybody was like so happy that he had what seemed to be kind of gotten through the worst of this. And seeing as he had gotten better, and everybody had been in the hospital this whole time, right? And my grandmother arrives to the hospital to take over for like my mother, right? So she stays in the hospital with the baby so that my mom can go and do whatever she needed to do. And my grandmother's like, you haven't gone to take a shower. You haven't go take a shower, rest a little. I will be here. And you go. So my mom goes to take a rest. And she takes a shower. She gets out of the shower. And I believe she was with my aunts as well, in the hospital. And so my aunts hop into the shower, and my mom goes to lie down. And the way that apartment was that there's a door here, and then the bathroom's right across, a little nook right across from it, and you can see the door of the bathroom. And so my mom's lying down. She's not sleeping. She's literally lying down, looking at the entrance to the doorway of the room. In that little nook, right? She can see the bathroom door. And she sees a little baby blanket cross in front. I get chills as I'm telling the story. She sees a little baby blanket kind of cross the front of, that little nook between, right in front of the doorway of the room, where she's kind of lying back looking out towards. And she gets up immediately and she tells my aunts, hurry up, So she gets up and she's she calls to my aunt and she says, hey, we have to go to the hospital right now. Right after she sees this little baby blanket cross from one end of the room to the other, right? In front of the doorway. And in that, right in that moment, the phone rings. She picks up the phone, and it's the mom. And the mom says, come quickly. Everything's fine. But come quickly. And she hangs up, and they get ready to go. By the time they have arrived, the baby, he was maybe at most a year old, has already passed. And they later find out that right as the baby blanket is passing is when the little boy passed. Anyway, that's the story. But my mom's has a special gift, and she's had a lot of experiences like that. And that's just one of them. It's a very sad story because it's the loss of a little boy. And I'll tell you during another time my experience with right before my grandmother passed away. Bye. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, there's not much to enjoy in this story. I'm sorry. It's a very sad story. So I will leave you with that story about the supernatural. Some stories are sadder than others because it's part of saying goodbye to really dearly loved ones. All right. Love you. Bye.